If you're early to mid-game in Raid Shadow Legends and you're curious on which gear to keep and which you can sell, stick around for my top 5 tips. Hey guys, Finally He Sleeps here with another video in my Just the Tip series for Raid beginners. Today we're going to look at which gear you can simply sell, which you need to keep, and what you might need for later. First though, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube. It does make a big difference here on the new Raid channel. Let's jump right in, head first on this one. Number 5. First, let's take a look at what you can sell right out of the gate. Now this is not gear type specific, but specific to the piece of gear. So we're not talking about like accuracy versus life or anything like that. We're talking about which artifact type we're dealing with. So weapons, helmets, and shields here all have primary stats that are static. All of the weapons are always going to be attack, all of the helmets are always going to be HP, and all of the shields are going to be defense no matter what type of gear it is for those. So first thing you can sell is you can look at your gauntlets, and any gauntlet that you receive that does not include a percentage stat, if it's just one of the flat stats such as HP, attack, or defense, those you're going to sell right out of the gate. Flat stats, get rid of them. Don't use them. Don't waste coins. Don't upgrade them. Just sell them no matter how many stars they are. You don't want flat stats for gauntlets. Number 4, for chest plates and banners, these are the only 2 pieces of gear where resistance can be a primary stat. Any 5 or 6 star piece of gear with primary resistance stats you're gonna want to keep for later. You won't necessarily need them from early to mid game, but you will use them down the road eventually, and they will come in handy when you start dealing with Doom Tower and the hard dungeon bosses. It's better to pull them back for when you need them than to go ahead and sell them. If it's 1 to 4 stars though, if it's a resistance piece and it's 1 to 4 stars, go ahead and get rid of it, because by the time you need resistance gear, you're only going to be using 5 or maybe only 6 star gear at that point anyway. Number 3, in the beginning, I suggest selling all of the following gear types. They'll do more good as coin sources than actually benefiting any individual champion. So if you're coming across these are the gears that I immediately push to get rid of, because they're not going to really do you any good. And it's resistance, which is the 2-piece resistance set that you'll usually pick up in like the campaign. Fury, curing, reflex, cursed, provoke, toxic. Toxic does have some utility when you get into like clan boss, if you are building a specific team and you want to add some poison to a specific champion. But for the most part, by the time you're using a toxic gear set, you've got champions that already spit out poison, so it's not necessary. I'd get rid of Daze, Avenging, Stalwart. A lot of people talk about Stalwart as being a very useful gear set. Personally, I've always just gotten rid of it. It's never really been beneficial enough to hold on to it. Frenzy and Stun. So if you're looking for what you can sell right out of the gate, that's my list. Number 2, there are 3 pieces of gear you'll come across in the dungeons that you'll need for the final artifacts challenge. There are 3 challenges that require you to equip champions with a set from each of these in at least 5 or 6 star. It's Regeneration, Frost, and Retaliation. Just make sure you have a full set of all 3 in 5 or 6 star when the time comes that you need them. Now, Regeneration has some utility, so I do not suggest selling them regardless, but Frost and Retaliation are only necessary for these challenges. Get 1 set of each at 5 or 6 star and then sell the rest. And when I say a set, I mean 4 because both of those kits require 4. You don't need all 6. You just need a set of 4 to complete the challenge. Number 1, in the beginning, you're going to use any type of gear you can get, but you're going to quickly realize that the lower the star level or the lower the rarity, the less desirable that gear is going to be. You'll keep moving up in pickiness until you're only saving 5 and 6-star gear, and eventually you're only going to be dealing with 6-star gear. Now, my best advice for this is only take gear to 16. That's 5-star or higher early and mid game. If you have a specific quest that you have to complete, like you have to gear up, you know, so many things to 16, I think it's part of the monthly quest, that kind of thing, just stick with 5 and 6-star gear. Now, this is my main account, so if we look at this, I don't have any 5-star that isn't already taken to 6, except for one piece of regeneration that we can sell. But at this point, the only 5-star I still have is stuff that was already taken to level 16. Everything else is only 6-star. In the beginning, try not to take anything above 12 that isn't at least 5-star. Obviously, it's not going to work all the time, but hold out hope for at least 5-star gear, specifically for dungeons. Once you start hanging out in the dungeons where you can start to farm for gear that's up to 5-star, up to 6-star, consider moving quickly into that 5 and 6-star range where that's the only gear you're spending coins on. Hope that info helped. If it did, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube. Appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I'm FinallyHeSleeps. As long as you guys keep tuning in, I'll keep making videos. Thanks for watching. If you haven't noticed, my YouTube channel has expanded. Subscribe here for Raid Shadow Legends content, but make sure you check out my other channels as well for EA Sports FC, everything automotive over at Gearheads, and visit Cringeworthy for a few laughs. Subscribe links are right over there.